I have one more segment to talk about the WikiLeaks emails that I think is really, really important, especially now in the context of Donald Trump winning the election in what is being considered an enormous, stunning upset. Now, according to a recently released Podesta email, Donald Trump was apparently elevated by the Clinton campaign. In its self-described Pied Piper strategy, the Clinton campaign had proposed intentionally cultivating extreme right-wing presidential candidates, hoping to turn them into the, quote, new mainstream of the Republican Party. Now, why would you do this? Well, you pick someone so extreme that I look sane and really awesome in comparison, so that my right-wing ideas, my support of fracking and the Trans-Pacific Partnership don't look so bad, especially compared to this really, really crazy guy over here on the right. Well, now how did that work out? Well, let me get to that. Now, Clinton's camp also insisted that Trump and other extremists should be elevated to leaders of the pack, and media outlets should be told to take them seriously. Now, that's one of the biggest things right there. Because there you have a political campaign telling the media, hey, we've got this strategy to elevate Trump. You need to take him seriously so he can be a bad opponent for me so I can win. Well, that's collusion with the media right there. And that's obviously corruption. It's wrong. Now, I remember watching news reports on Donald Trump on mainstream television, and I keep thinking, dude, why are you taking this crazy guy seriously? He's a clown. He calls Mexicans rapists and criminals and said that some of them may be good people. And the media just sat there. Oh, yes, Mr. Trump, of course, yeah. Yeah, that's your opinion. Now, how are you going to build this giant wall and make Mexico pay for it? I mean, obviously that's a acceptable idea, but how are you going to do it? Oh, obviously, as we can see today, that strategy backfired bigly. Now, on April 23rd, 2015, this was two weeks after Hillary Clinton officially declared her intention to run, her staff sent out a group message with information for a strategy call. Now, the email included as an attachment a memo for the DNC discussion. Now, the memo, which was addressed to the DNC, outlined the strategy and goals a potential Hillary Clinton presidential campaign would have regarding the 2016 presidential field. It says, our hope is that the goal of the potential HRC campaign in the DNC would be one and the same, to make whomever the Republicans nominate unpalatable to a majority of the electorate. Well, who turned out being unpalatable? Hillary Clinton. Now, the memo articulated a three-point strategy. Point 1 called for forcing all Republican candidates to lock themselves into extreme conservative positions that will supposedly hurt them in a general election. Again, it didn't work. Because what the Clinton campaign didn't understand and didn't realize is that people were sick of the status quo. They were tired of the establishment. They were tired of establishment politics. You have people that pretty much voted for Trump in order to throw a brick through the window of the establishment. Now, it's obviously an incredible oversight to ignore those people who were tired of politics as usual. And it's sort of what I like to think of, ignoring this whole thing, liberal elitism. There is a strain of elitism running in liberal circles. And it has to be, we got to rein this in. Because it makes us ignore regular people and their concerns. Now, when you're in that Washington, New York, LA bubble, you might think, hey, the people I know, well, they're not hurting. They're not angry. They're certainly not going to vote for Trump. Of course not. Well, the rest of the country is hurting. And unfortunately, the Clinton campaign, they ignored that to their peril and to everyone's peril. Now, the memo continues. Sorry. Many of the lesser known can serve as a cudgel to move the more established candidates further to the right. In this scenario, we don't want to marginalize the more extreme candidates, but make them more Pied Piper candidates who actually represent the mainstream of the Republican Party. As examples of these Pied Piper candidates, the memo named Donald Trump as well as Senator Ted Cruz and Dr. Ben Carson. Now, of course, the most blustery of the pack, Donald Trump ended up surging ahead. Why? Well, he was different than the other Republicans because he didn't focus so much on social conservatism like Ben Carson and Ted Cruz. What he did is that he talked about bad trade deals and he hammered everyone on political corruption. Now remember, he sat back and he said, yeah, I've given money to Democrats. I've given money to you, all you guys here. I buy people and they do whatever the hell I want. The system is corrupt. Now the rest of the Republicans, you had Jeb Bush going, that's not what you can do. No, of course not. No, the system's not corrupt. Are you? No. Well, that didn't work. Nobody else hit that corruption. That's why Donald Trump, because believe it or not, there are a lot of Republicans that are just as sick and tired of money in politics as liberals are. These are the people Donald Trump reached out to and successfully brought into the campaign. These are the brick throwers, the people that are tired, man. And we can all, 90% of Americans can all get together and say, we're tired of this corrupt system. We're tired of it. Now, the other thing about this is that Donald Trump hit Clinton's two of her greatest weaknesses, right? And she underestimated how well those weaknesses could be played against her. Even the bumbling Donald Trump managed to weaken her so much, yes, with the help of Bernie Sanders by pointing out how she is actually corrupt. Well, that resonated with the American people. And the fact that they despise corruption, and they despise politicians, and they despise Washington. Now, there are other messages from WikiLeaks, released by WikiLeaks, the Podesta emails, that show how while the Clinton campaign was also at the same time facilitating the rise of Trump, it was also undermining the campaign of Bernie Sanders. Now, look, I've covered emails from the Democrats, from the DNC, that show how they actively sabotage Bernie's campaign. Now, Bernie warned the DNC, as well as me, Kyle Kulinski, Jimmy Dort, Jordan Sheridan, H.A. Goodman, Tim Black, all of us, all the progressives on new media, Sam Cedar, everybody. We warned them. We said, do not nominate Hillary Clinton. And we were right. You know why? Because she will lose to Trump. In fact, I've got a clip of me back in May saying the same thing. Take a look. The establishment is going to say, hey man, I don't see an iceberg. I don't see an iceberg. I see the iceberg. Do you see it? They continue to ignore it though. Just like everything else. Ignore that. This ship will not sink. Not at all. You Sanders bros, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut your mouth. Bow to the establishment and get on board SS Hillary. We won't sink. And we're going to go straight on full speed into that iceberg, man. Here's the thing. We don't want to lose to Trump. I don't want to lose to Trump. I don't want Donald Trump anywhere near the White House. I don't want him cleaning up the dog shit on the lawn. Okay? I don't want him anywhere near close. Okay? That's why we're trying to warn you that if you want to beat Trump, you're choosing the wrong person to do so. You're ignoring your best chance. And look, I hope I'm wrong. But all I can look at, poll after poll, right? And just the way that this election is shaping up. I could see, and I hope I'm wrong, but I could see Trump winning the White House. And that's exactly what happened, man. That was back in May, and there are so many more videos where I broke down the polls, and I said the exact same thing. Do not nominate Hillary Clinton, or we will have a Trump presidency. I hate to say it. I told you so. I told you so. And look, it's not as if I've had a personal beef against Hillary Clinton. All I do is I look at the numbers and I look at the trends and I try to feel the mood of the country. And the mood was pissed. My state went for Obama twice. I live in Michigan. This time it turned red. Why? It's because most people, they stayed home. She didn't excite anyone. She didn't give anybody a reason to vote for her. And her and the DNC at the same time elevated a right-wing populist who talked about ending the corruption while Hillary Clinton and the DNC embraced that corruption. And instead of trying to distance herself, no, she ended up saying, or just embracing that corruption, getting more of that super PAC money, all while saying, don't vote for Trump. He's a racist. He's a sexist. He's a demagogue. Well, you know what? You're right. He is. And look, there's no question that he campaigned on fear and hate. But she allowed that. She fostered that while taking that money, while being corrupt. And a lot of people, they looked past that and they said, look, I don't like what he says, but I don't like what Hillary Clinton does. I don't like the fact that she takes super PAC money. Now, I'm not saying Donald Trump didn't. Yeah, of course he took super PAC money after he won the primary. Of course, we know that. He's reached out to lobbyists. He is the establishment as well. But everyone was convinced that no, it's Hillary Clinton that's the criminal. And that's what happened. She could never shake that. And look, she didn't think that she could lose because, as I've mentioned before, her hubris. No, I couldn't possibly lose to Donald Trump. He's racist. He's a sexist. Don't be ridiculous. People will fall in line. They'll see that. They'll fall in line and say, oof, can't have that. Can't have that. And they're going to fall in line behind the status quo. But they didn't. They didn't. And look, you know, Hillary supporters, you guys can get mad at me for saying I told you so. You can get pissed. Hey, man, Jeff, why are you rubbing salt in the wound? Okay, this is bad. Well, it's because that wound, that is self-inflicted. Hillary supporters, you did this to yourself. You supported someone that we told you could not win against Donald Trump, especially since we had an alternative who poll after poll after poll crushed Donald Trump. He had no baggage, no scandals, and a history of fighting for the working class. He could have carried Michigan. Remember? In the primary, he had an upset win against Hillary Clinton. The polls were wrong. He carried Michigan. He likely would have carried the Rust Belt. He did win Pennsylvania, after all. And he would have won Ohio, but a lot of Sanders supporters, in an effort to try to stop Trump early, voted for John Kasich. Valiant effort, but it didn't work. And here's the other thing, right? Look, this is tough love, okay? Because I want to try to get the DNC to understand. I want to get them to learn their lesson. Listen to your base. Give them something to vote for. Barack Obama ran on hope and change. Bernie had a future to believe in. And what did Hillary Clinton have? What did she have? I'm with her. I'm with her. That was her slogan. That was her tagline. You're not supposed to have us be with you. You're supposed to be with us. You're supposed to give us something to believe in. You have to give us a reason to vote for you. Not, I'm with her. I'm with her. Why are we with her? Well, most of the country answered. They're not with her. She failed to bring out the vote. Yes, she still got more of the popular vote. I understand that. 200,000 more votes than Donald Trump. She won the popular vote. But there was record low turnout for the Democrats. And a lot of turnout for Donald Trump. A lot more than her anyway. And see, here's the thing. The country, America, now has to suffer for the hubris of Hillary Clinton. While she goes off and can make more, money doing speaking fees and engagements. She's set. The Clintons have made over $3 billion off politics. Yeah, their political run is over with. They're gone. There will be no more Clintons. No more dynasty. But everyone else is going to be left with the mess that her and the DNC left for us by allowing Donald Trump to win. So look, I hope you enjoy your speaking fees, Hillary. Your engagements and your, $225,000 speeches to Goldman Sachs. I hope you enjoy that. While Donald Trump destroys the country at the same time. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.